On today's show, it's a road trip north, way north, to the heart of Lake of the Woods, where the wilderness is untouched, the service is first class, and the fishing, in a word, is legendary.
I'll grab the net!
Those stories and more, next. Minnesota Bound. Brought to you by Minnesota's select GMC dealers.
Hi everybody, Raven and I welcome you to the show. As you can see, we are sitting by my favorite fishing hole, the one where I never get skunked, or at least I always see fish, okay? Well, our first story is also about fish. It's also about a place called Lake of the Woods and Wiley Point. Every year we have a tradition of a bunch of us going up there to see what we can catch. Bill Shirk has the story.
Some adventures seem righteous enough to make even Huck Finn blush. Lake of the Woods sits a massive and maybe a little bit quirky 70-mile body of fresh water. The lake borders Minnesota, Ontario, and Manitoba, a place where goods and people move at a different pace.
That's how stuff moves around this lake.
Every summer, we load the boats with gear and friends and run the lake's main east-west route out of Sioux Narrows.
We call it the Wiley effect. As soon as you come around the point on the corner here and you see this big lodge built out of nowhere, I mean, it makes you just go, wow.
Wiley Point sits tucked away in a quiet cove, a giant 5-star lodge hidden on the lake's western waters. We dream of the 5-star accommodations and a cushy vacation. But really, we come for the fishing. Today we split 15 friends between 6 boats, including guide Claude's.
I've been here for 25 years, but I've fished for over 50.
Claude's Claude, I mean, he's a legend.
Oh yeah. Oh, nice one. Nice. Good luncher. Oh yeah.
He fits the bill as a typical Canadian fishing guide, and I mean, people love him. He gets requested all the time.
Claude puts clients on fish, period. Too bad the old cliche applies. You know, the one, you can lead a horse to water, but...
Oh! You gotta set that hook.
Dang, it didn't get your minnow though.
Well, you know the rest.
Need a net?
I think I'm snagged too.
Got a crawdad. Look at this.
Funny thing, because just across the hump,
First fish.
we hooked too many fish to count.
I'll grab the net!
That's Mike Diamond. And that's Bob Hot Hands Joyce. And that's our pile of fish on the bottom. We have lunch in the live well in no time. Heck, I set up a yard sale to help the other boats, just in case they need a little of our help. Yep, gold proves the color for the green boat. Fishing's so good, we start to run low on minnows. Hold on to that, Bob, we need it. I had planned to pawn extra bait off Ron Sher, but it looks like his boat's running out too. Guess we need a break. Wiley Point guides have that covered too. Shore lunch gets cooking on a tiny island oasis. By the time food is served, we find ourselves on Wiley time, without a worry in the world, and simply watching life and the boats roll by.
It is absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
You know, the stress of life that we all deal with sometimes just kind of goes away.
kind of ran with it.
Next up, it's all about family and the family business at this wilderness lodge. 3 generations worth and still going strong. Minnesota Bound, brought to you by Minnesota Select GMC dealers. Kingtail Gator, Border View Lodge, Jesse Treble's Safe Basements of Minnesota, and by Evinrude, the official outboard motor of Minnesota Bound.
All right, it's time to go back to Wiley Point Lodge in beautiful Lake of the Woods. The fishing is just heating up.
Wiley Point Lodge sits a literal Lake of the Woods icon. But this 5-star fish camp might be a small part of a much bigger fish tale. Actually, a story about a family.
I like to call it the Ritz-Carlton of fishing.
Meet Eric Brown, proprietor of Wiley Point Lodge. Eric has loved Lake of the Woods ever since the early 1960s, when his father purchased a family cabin. 20 years later, the family upgraded.
And in 1978, we bought Totem Lodge, and I took it over from my dad. I've been here 36 years, made it the only 5-star lodge of all lodges. The thing that I love the most is that I've got to turn over Totem Lodge to my son Eric, Yellowbird Lodge 17 years now to my daughter Stephanie, and of course my son DJ, the youngest, he's been out at Wiley 5 years now.
I have honestly one of the best mentors in the world right here. He has what I call the contagious plague, and that plague is enthusiasm and the passion he's put into this. You can't help but feel the same and want to carry that tradition on.
Same story with brother DJ.
It really is. It's gorgeous out here. I mean, we live and work in the best place on earth, in my opinion.
DJ runs Wiley Point, luxury rooms and cabins with a view to boot. Every summer, our television team visits. We think we always return for the fishing. But really, when you think about it, we come for so much more. These trips, really, it's about the people.
And that's one of my favorite things, is to see familiar faces every year. It's almost like friends coming for a visit.
Just how I feel about Keith Davison, about the only guy on the planet I'd allow to drive my boat. On a glass, calm evening, Keith, Eric Johnson, and I skip after-dinner festivities to fit in a few extra casts.
There's a bunch of trees down here. The wind's blown down a lot of trees in this channel.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna take a few casts at each tree.
What are you gonna throw, blades?
See, Keith has a bit of a wily reputation.
Got more muskies per acre than I think most lakes out there. I've had seasons where I've had over 100 so on this lake.
Eric and I want to see just one.
Can't beat this. I think that's it, that hunt, that predator instinct they have, and just chasing them down. You gotta outsmart them more than any other fish.
Exactly why Keith puts in a lot of casts during summer months.
Nights I'm out at least 6 of the 7. My girlfriend is very understanding.
She is understanding. And here is why.
She actually stays home in Southern Ontario. He's coming there, he's coming there. That's why you should fish Lake of the Woods.
Nice job, buddy.
Thanks.
How much fun is that for you? I know
A
you've
lot.
done it 100 times.
It doesn't matter, yeah. Gets funner, if that's a word.
There you go. What more do you need to say?
Give it a little salt and pepper.
Coming up, Laura Sher is going to let you in on a little secret. A Sher family recipe to be exact. Is it walleye? Guess again.
Oh, look at that.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Yard, premier manufacturers of maintenance-free outdoor patio furniture and accessories from recycled plastic.
All right, we're going to take a break from Wiley Point Lodge and go to the kitchen where daughter Laura has something cooking. Raven, you leave those fish alone. I think it's halibut.
Today we're going to be getting wild in the kitchen cooking one of my favorite fish, which is halibut. And I am here solo cooking today because I'm sharing with you a recipe that has been in the Sher family for well over 15 years. Here are a couple of the first steps. So you have your fillet of halibut and you just want to set it in a glass baking dish. And we're going to give it a little salt and pepper, otherwise known as hugs and kisses in the cooking world. So we're gonna set the halibut aside and we're gonna move on to making our breadcrumb topping. All right, so we have our breadcrumbs almost ready, and now we're going to go to the next step, which is making our base, which is stone ground mustard and a little bit of mayonnaise. Stir this together. All right, from here we're just gonna take our mustard mayo combination and really frost it on top of the halibut fillet like you are frosting a cake. So our halibut is frosted with our mustard mayo mix, and now we're going to go to our fresh breadcrumbs. We're going to add our chopped parsley, a little bit of pecorino cheese. I also like to add a little bit of Asiago. Next step is you want to add a little bit of olive oil to your breadcrumb mixture. So by adding a little bit of olive oil, it adds a little bit of stickiness to the breadcrumbs, and that's what we want. You want to gently pack it on top of the fillet. All right, now it's time for the final step, and probably one of my favorite steps. We are going to add some white wine. And what this does is that the fish will absorb the flavor of the wine as it's cooking it. All right, so the wine doesn't do that alone. The last step of this dish is cutting a half a lemon and putting some fresh squeezed lemon juice, also with the white wine at the bottom of the baking dish. Again, the flavor that comes through the fish after this cooks is unbelievable. Here we go. All right, our halibut's in the oven at 350 degrees. It'll cook for about 30 to 40 minutes, all depending on how thick the halibut fillet is. Can't wait. I have our fresh asparagus cooking on the side, and we're gonna check to see how our fish is doing. Wow, look at that. I think it is finished. It is golden brown and delicious. So there you have it, from the Sher family kitchen to yours. It is so wildly delicious.
Next up, time to return to Lake of the Woods. It's time to wrap up the trip with a little fishing excursion to a secret lake. Minnesota Bound, brought to you by Connecticut, Ellsworth Creamery, and by Totem Resorts.
Time now for the conclusion to our Wiley Point Lake of the Woods adventure. As always, these adventures have to come to an end. One more fish and then go home.
I think it's just the beauty. I mean, as soon as you come out here, you're surrounded by nature, the water. I think what people really like out here is you don't have your vehicle while you're out here. You pretty much have your boat that is your car while you're out here.
Zipping away from Wiley Point Lodge and up Lake of the Woods, we head for a quandary. See, in fishing, seems getting them to bite is the real trick.
Gotta do gold. Gold's been our color this trip.
But the opposite applies on a connecting lake called shoal.
So do we want to do something on first fish?
Yeah, I would say $5, huh?
Okay.
Shoal's reputation lies in bass fishing.
I'm just trying to find a reason to take more of you guys' money.
Travis McKenzie and the guy with the bum shoulder.
Sore from pulling in fish.
Jeff Doherty and I want to see why so many people talk about shoal. Who's gonna catch the big one? Our answer comes almost too quickly.
Got a little piker. Little piker to start.
Not bad for 3 casts.
Let me grab the net for you.
You got that on tape? A couple bucks going around here. Pure excitement, adrenaline rush.
Because shoal is a lake of few casts.
Smallie! We are gonna have a smallie. There you go.
That's a nice one.
Danny, so much fun. So Travis, that's what one looks like.
Now I know what a bass looks like. You get spoiled, you know what I mean?
But here's the thing.
How's it feel?
Substantial?
In Jeff's crankbait cast,
Oh yeah!
the Shoal Lake Quandary.
It's just ludicrous.
See, walleye fishing is off limits. They're protected in shoal.
Jeff, that was a catch of a lifetime right there.
We don't celebrate, we don't snap a photo. Instead, we move off the spot.
I'm thinking we go try another rock pile where we've caught plenty of bass. DT16, one of the best deep edge bass baits ever made. I can't get it to the smallies. So he's just taking line.
Boy.
Good gracious. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I thought it was a smallie.
See what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny. It's it's hard to fish other species. The walleyes, sadly to say, that they get in the way of your other fishing.
There it is. Woo. Dang, Jeff. Is he using the same stuff we're using? Walleye?
Nope.
Another walleye.
It's like a competition out there for your bait, and the walleye seems to win more than the other species.
How hard can you try to catch a smallie? It's like when the rock bass get in the way of your bass fishing. It's just instead of rock bass, they're 28-inch walleyes. I'm switching to the most finesse bass thing I got. Drop shot. We know they're bass here.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's a nice one.
Whack.
That's a real nice one. Yep.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's a bass. All right. Good job. One's lucky, two's coincidence, three's a pattern. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, get the net. Do these bass make my muscles look big? All right. There you go. So that's what ye old shoal is known for. Good gracious. Woo! How pretty is that?
And a great way to end our week on Lake of the Woods. Visit Wiley Point and maybe, just maybe, you'll start to understand. It's the lure of Ontario, and specifically, a place we affectionately call Wiley.
It's gorgeous out here. I mean, it's like living in a postcard every day. It really is.
Oh yes, now you know why Lake of the Woods is one of my favorite places to wet a line. That about does it for us. Remember, introduce a kid to the great outdoors. I'm Ron Sher, and of course always the star of the show, guarding the fish, is Raven. Yes, yes, yes.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433. For more information on these stories and more, catch us on the web at mnbound.com.